All right, it's game number 3 in the finals. I may or may not even bother uploading map number 2. You know, I would upload it out of respect for Rainy because it was so well played, but it was like a 5-minute swarm game where he rushed a ton of Zerglings. Very reminiscent of the finals from the first tournament I casted, where it was just tons and tons of Zerglings. All right, in the upper left, we have Apocalypse spawning as Raiders. In the bottom right, we have Rainy spawning as Infested. Now, we know that Rainy is very, very experienced with Infested. Now, I don't know about Apocalypse with Raiders. I don't know if I've seen it. Now, it kind of just comes down to the randomness, unfortunately. Apocalypse has not gotten either Kala or Nerazim, arguably his 2 favored races. Now, we've seen him play very well with Covenant, though, and he did lose that last game to some very fast swarm speedlings. All right. And some fast supply call down rather than a mule to scout. This map is enormous, so it might honestly just be better to get an engineering bay and scan. I don't know. Golden Creeper, I see you in the chat leaving. Have a great night. Great games from you, by the way, today. All right, so there goes the barracks, and he's not going to get supply blocked anytime soon, right? And we do have... Looks like he's going out for a fast expansion. No, you don't use the Feederling to expand. You use the Broodmother to expand. That's easy to forget. The Feederling is going to make its long journey. Its long, long, long journey across the map. Its pilgrimage to see what his old friend Apocalypse may be up to. What race he even is. What faction he even is. It'd be interesting to cast a game from just one player's perspective. I think that would really change it a lot. I mean, what's the point of being an observer, though, I guess, if you're doing that? I don't know. At that point, all you're doing is being overly critical of a player who's focused on playing when you can just watch them and point out their mistakes. So, yeah, I'm never going to do that. I don't know what I was thinking. Broodhive, second Broodhive going out for RenieHouR. I suppose it makes sense because it's a huge map, so any pressure that gets put out by Apocalypse won't even make it across the map for a long time. I mean, if he wants to get across the map quickly, he'd have to make vultures, which means he has to get a factory, so even that's going to be delayed. If he wanted to run marines across the map, it's going to take him 8 years, and by which point Rainy theoretically would have some roaches out. But the Roach Warren... Where is the Roach Warren? No Roach Warren has even been laid down yet. I mean, a lot of it is just understanding the map, and, you know, I suppose that he would think he doesn't need to worry about getting roaches out quickly because Apocalypse would not make it across the map very fast. Not to mention, he's got a Feederling in here that's going to go down, but he did see what's going on in here. He didn't see a fast factory. He tried to look for it, but he didn't see a fast factory for vultures or anything like that. There's the factory, though, that Rainy will not see. So a lot of when you're playing Terran is just scoping them out and seeing, are we going to see some bio? Are we going to see some mech? What's coming out faster? Because for Raiders specifically, you're either going to see a ton of vultures or you're going to see marines, field medics, and probably a tech into tank or air units. But usually, it's just what are you going to see first? Can you expect to see a bunch of ion thrusters, vultures with spider mines? Because if they rush to factory, which this technically is, I mean, if you get a factory before you get a second barracks, that's about as fast as you're going to see it. And another factory as well, so we're going to see heavy, heavy mech play from Apocalypse, so probably a lot of tanks and vultures. And Rainy does not know that. That's what I'm trying to emphasize here. Rainy does not know that. So from Rainy's perspective, he's just got to go in thinking, bio with field medics, in which case maybe I should go for fast infestors, or if there's going to be a lot of tanks, that's a whole different story. And honestly, I don't even know how Infested deals with fast tanks, probably a soaring roost. Anyway, we have fast glial reconstitution coming out from Rene. Have I gotten the players confused again? Because I wouldn't be surprised if I have. My mind is... It always happens at the end of the tournaments. My mind just fries. All right, so glial reconstitution, there's the spider mines with vultures, like I was saying. Why would you even build vultures if you couldn't have spider mines? Jeez. Just one of those things. Why would you make Zerglings without speed? It's the same thing. You got to get those spider mines. They're just so fun to mess around with and blow up giant waves of units with. Spider mines also going to do so good against roaches. The roaches in HeptaCraft, they used to be light, and I'm going to assume they are still light. So mass vulture, well, not really mass vulture, but a good portion of vultures will perform very well even against roaches. And when the roaches are off creep, the vultures are going to do great then as well. So let's see, moving out here, and you know what I'm surprised is that RenieHouR has not gotten any infested commanders. Someone in the chat's talking about those, that made me think about that. Renie, in general, has gotten early infested commanders, and I'm surprised we haven't seen them. A nice little wall off here with egg clusters, very, very neat. I like it a lot. It's going to keep these vultures out. And infested commanders. Now, I think, are these light? They unfortunately are light, so the vultures may be able to do a lot of damage. Now, was there detection there? How did he see that? Was that a spider mine that just went down? There's no detection here, I don't think. Does he have a scrutinizer out? Yeah, okay, he's got a scrutinizer out. And here we go, the infested commanders chasing these away. Yeah, the scrutinizer able to see. Scrutinizer is going to be very important in this game. Very important to spot for spider mines, because spider mines are going to annihilate any groups of roaches that are trying to run around the map. This map is enormous, though, so this may be a long one. We shall see. The vultures deciding to go around this time, but still getting caught out. And this time, Apocalypse deciding to fight. And this is what I was thinking, is that the vultures have a distinct advantage over these commanders. I mean, you back up behind the wall, and RenieHouR is going to do his best. And it's just sort of a slugfest back and forth. These units can fight each other, but for a while, but I think that the vultures, as shown here, have a distinct advantage. They do more against light, and infested commanders are light. More infested commanders. That is crazy how many are coming out right here. So let's check. 75-25, that's a lot of gas that went into these infested commanders, but they have done wonderfully, even holding off these vultures, but oh dear. This is where the scariness starts. We have very, very fast mech play by Apocalypse. He's getting more vultures, more tanks, gonna start rallying them across the map. This map is huge, but the sooner you can get a foothold to keep your opponent walled in and stuck in their own base, the better. But ooh, catching the tanks unsieged and deciding to pull back. He does snipe one more vulture. And these poor Alexei Stukov clones getting killed. Good creep spread still right here from Renie. These roaches do not do well off creep. They're very slow. Now, scans and spider mines and vultures, this is going to be tricky. There's a morph actually being used for its original purpose for the first time this time around. And the infested commander is going to do their best trying to hold off the onslaught of Apocalypse, only getting one tank. And what is he making here? Okay, these are roaches. I was like, did he just make 20 infested commanders? Because that would be nuts. What is coming out for Renie? He is getting that organic carapace to give him plus 10 health on his roaches and some weird bonus for when he's burrowed. Soaring Roost, though. The Soaring Roost is going to allow him to make air units, and there's no anti-air here. So until we start seeing some transition into Goliaths from Apocalypse, which is exactly what's happening because he's already researching Charon boosters and making the armory, which is the prerequisite. But will he have them out in time to deal with the Soaring Roost? I mean, it's really both these players. Will it happen in time? The Soaring Roost is just finishing now, so he's going to try to get some Corruptors out, but will they be done in time before he has unacceptable losses? And further, will Goliaths be able to get across the map to stop those Corruptors before it's too late? Is the Scrutinizer still out? It is, and again, there's no anti-air, but the Spider Mine's actually getting wiped because the Scrutinizer wasn't, or the Spider Mine's wiping those roaches just like I was anticipating because the Scrutinizer wasn't there. These roaches, it's just so hard to do anything with them when you have these tanks. They're just gonna smash through all of this stuff on the ground, and the really good vulture play, very good vulture control here by Apocalypse is he's able to just kind of poke in there and do a bunch of damage and get them out before most of them die. Here are the Corruptors. Now the Corruptors going straight for the tanks, for the most part leaving the vultures alone, because the vultures can get cleaned up by roaches and things like that. So here we go, the roach is actually able to get in there and help a little bit now that there aren't a million tanks shooting them elsewhere, and now we got a big tech advantage for Renie, but Goliaths are queued up and ready to be on their way. All those tech reactors, 6 Goliaths on their way. 6 Goliaths from the top of the map on their way. A pause, please, from Renie. Third base, well, this gives me some time to catch up and read the chat a little bit. Some nuts works. All right, so we have a third base here from Renie, and we have... Oh, God, this is terrifying. So these vultures may be able to sneak in and do some damage because the Corruptors probably won't be able to keep up with them. So it's just knowing what Apocalypse is going to do. Apocalypse, are you ready to go? I mean, he can't hear me, but... Okay, there we go. Okay, so the Corruptor's going to try to chase down these Vultures. The Vulture's going to get in here and going to be able to do some good damage. We did see a Baneling spawn. He has enough energy for another one, but it's not being used. So many Feederlings going to go down. The Vulture's going to massacre. Just massacring this Feederling line. It's very, very sad. The Vultures may try to also run in. There was some more Broodlings in there. Not Broodlings, Banelings. And, ooh, pretty good surround there, and more Banelings. Great. Pretty good defense there. A lot of Feederlings going down in this area. Let's check. 12 workers killed pretty much just from that push right there. We have spider mines down here. I really hope we see some scrutinizers to pick those off before a million roaches die. And here are the Goliaths. Now, Goliaths with the Charon boosters are excellent, and multi-weapon lock, which I assume is a Terrazine upgrade, it must be, it has to be, right? It's going to be really, really effective, because you think, all right, well then just spam some roaches to get rid of the Goliaths. But if they have multi-lock weapon system, that's going to be some good stuff right there. We have Banelings out right now. Some mini Banelings that spawn from theirs, and the Scrutinizer is out. And these Vultures, the Vulture run-bys is something I've really always been a big fan of for Raiders. Raiders can be really, really strong in positional with tank mech play, but the Vultures can just zoom around the map and go wherever they want. So that's how I think you can be very versatile with Raiders. Maybe overkill with the Goliaths is now there are no tanks. So now Apocalypse is just all about the Goliaths and no tanks. You gotta mix that together. Now he's trying to get some more tanks in. He's building missile turrets in his mineral lines. He's making 3 here, which is actually very smart. Now, Apocalypse, that has all been on one base. This whole time, one base. His second base just now finishing Rainy on 3 bases. He does have his Arachnid lair out. No Corrosive Poison coming out just yet, but I wouldn't say it's... I mean, Corrosive Poison is probably very good against tanks because you get a couple shots off and you're inevitably going to die to the tanks. But the Corrosive Poison may be some good retribution from the grave. All right, so here we go. These Goliaths stop moving in as Rainy trying to hold on with his Arachnids. And, oh god, the Goliath's actually doing really, really well. The multi-lock weapon system is just about done. There is 1 tank in the back. It's not sieged up, but we do still have 7 Goliaths. These do move very slow on creep. Not really slow, but they lose. They go down to 70% of their original movement speed, so they lose 30% of their movement speed. That's noticeable. 1 tank getting picked up there. That was a really big grab right there. And Rainy realizing Corruptor's kind of out of the question now. He is still finishing his infested flyer attacks, but Apocalypse doing really well to contain Rainy as best he can, which is interesting because Rainy's still on 3 bases while he only has one extra one getting, or a second one just getting set up now, and it's not being saturated. No production from either player. Well, there's some Banelings, but now we have Maggots. Okay, those are 3 Maggots, not Banelings. Maggots, really, really good counter to siege tanks. In the past, when we saw this matchup, it was flipped. It was game 1, but it's flipped. Apocalypse tried the same thing, but we saw some really, really good bio play from Rainy to stop Apocalypse's Maggots from being able to even hit the tanks. Now, keep in mind, the Maggots explode. I don't think they do friendly fire when they blow up. It just says nearby enemy units. Yeah, so just like a normal Baneling. So it'd be really funny. It'd be sad, but kind of hilarious to watch if your own Maggots died and they blew up and killed your own stuff around them. That would be kind of depressing. All right, so we've got the Goliaths in. Now it's just all about if... Ooh. And here's the RenieHouR special with a Nidus in the base. Gonna force Apocalypse to probably have to turn around. And this is big. He's circumventing this, and it's on the entire other side of the map. And moving in here, and it's just, can he get the Maggots on top of the siege tanks? Let's keep an eye on this. Loading up Arachnids and Maggots in the base. And it looks like we have some units here. The Corruptor's trying to get in here, but with the multi-lock weapon system, it is done, right? Are these attacking ground units? Yeah, okay, so they do shoot both. Maggots, though, some of them getting taken out. And there's a lot of stuff going on here in the main base. Apocalypse deciding to press into RenieHouR's main base at the same time. Oh god, it's hard to keep track of all of this. But keep in mind, the Nidus Worm remains. The tech lab goes down. It was researching something. We have Vultures coming out. They do build very, very fast, but they do very bad damage against Maggots. Oh dear. These Maggots, you can see how fast they kill this. Oh, these workers. Oh god, don't kill the Maggots with your workers. Ah! Oh god. And this is where Maggots are horrifying. Once they're in your base, you're going to lose buildings quickly, and you can't get on top of them. Apocalypse deciding to GG. Rainy is up 3-0 in this, and I thought Apocalypse had this. But Renie with a real sneaky Nidus Worm, very well done. Well played by both players.